And let's go. What's going on, guys? Fred here, along with my co-host Che. What's going on, Che?
What's up?
Not too much, man. So I want to welcome everybody to the the ninth episode of the Shootcast. Several have been lost along the way. Several have been interrupted due to our busy schedules, but we are here and we're gonna test a little new format. We did the Shootcast last night live. And basically it was lost in time and space. So instead of watching it again, because spoiler alert, it wasn't that good, we're going to try a new format. So we're going to sum it up after the fact. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Che, did you have any sort of expectations coming into this Raw based on how mediocre the last Raw was?
No, I thought it was going to be dreadful just like last week. It's what I don't know. It's hard to do worse than last week.
I got you, man. So me personally, I thought that they were going to sort of flesh out this GM because they don't really have that much time, right? I mean, if they want to have the GM character get fleshed out, we've got TLC coming up, but I guess you could say TLC isn't very much of a storyline pay-per-view after all.
Nah, I think it's just a filler pay-per-view. Just there to continue feuds.
I mean, you think about it, really, the story only really gets fleshed out or advanced at the big four. So Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. Those would be the big four.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well. So let's just jump into Raw. We start Raw with Michael Cole comes up to the podium, and he announces that the GM says they need someone like him. And he makes the announcement, but oh wait, John Cena comes out. And John Cena says that he does not like anything about the new Raw GM, and that he makes a comparison to Brock Lesnar, saying that they both only show up once a year. Cena then talks about how the Big Show quit on him, and the anonymous GM has had enough, and he repeatedly beeps into the show, which obviously perturbs Cena. He comes over and he closes the laptop in one of the most careful. He closes it 80% of the way. Che, what were you thinking at this point? I mean, this was probably the most annoying shit with the beeping and with the fucking. I mean, he didn't even slam the laptop.
I thought I was just gonna fall asleep. It was not a good beginning to Raw. That anonymous GM is retarded. It's stupid, and it's annoying. But, for John Cena to come over there and, I'm mad at this damn laptop, but I'm not even going to close it all the way. I'm just going to close it like halfway. Oh, my God, if I break this, I'm going to have to pay for it.
It's because there was, like, a cord wrapped around on top of, like, the keyboard.
Yeah.
So he was, like, very careful about it. But apparently him closing the laptop was going to silence all the notifications. That was my understanding, right? Because then they stopped because he closed it. But
no.
Anyways, Rollins comes out with his two fucking chuckle fucks, of course. And they say that Cena didn't win anything. They basically get to a point where Rollins wants Cena, says, hey, you're the only one that can bring them back. And he says, you're the only one that has the power. So I want you to do it. And Cena says, well, why don't you say please? Why don't you get on your knees and beg for it? And Rollins does an awkward, please bring them back.
That was stupid. It was stupid. I mean, first of all, what kind of heel? Why are you going to ask him for that? I mean, why? You know he's not going to do it. What a bitch. Heel my ass.
And then Michael Cole cuts them off. The face of this Raw GM. Like we were saying, it's like Michael Cole. He's like it's like the don't shoot the messenger, right? He is the deliverer of the message. So he says it with like this condescending sort of cocky attitude, snarky, like, oh, you're going to have a match. And, it makes it seem like he's the one that's making all these steps and matches.
Uh-huh.
So,
And
Mike, go ahead, buddy.
what happens next is Michael Cole announces that the anonymous GM said that if John Cena loses to Seth Rollins at TLC, he gives up, and I mean he forfeits his number one contender match for the WWE Championship.
Which seems like a weird sort of one-sided stipulation, right? I mean, the GM is basically coming out and being a heel straight off the bat. I mean, obviously the GM was talking about stuff like, you need me and the fun's over and you guys need someone like me to be here for structure, and they keep, really stressing this structure angle. But to be a heel right off the bat, I thought that's what, Team Cena won, right? I thought they won the ability to have,
Some power.
some sort of power. Like, they should have made it so that Cena was the general manager or something like that. Like, who appointed Daniel Bryan then? Was it Vince?
We don't know.
I swear he said Vince,
man.
didn't he?
Yeah, but I thought Team Cena had power. This makes no sense.
Oh, well. So, anyways, then Rollins attacks him. Mercury and Noble come in. Kane comes in. And here comes fucking Ryback.
Big brawl.
Big fucking brawl. Here comes Ryback. Here comes Eric Rowan. Here comes Big Show. Here
Speaking of
comes
Eric
Ziggler.
Rowan. Speaking of Eric Rowan, did you see how he was running?
He ran like he had a load of shit in his pants, dude.
Oh, man, I hope that's not real, dude, because he's working hurt if that's true.
He looked less mobile than the Great Khali. Let's just put it that way.
Dude, that was hilarious. I mean, if it's like his gimmick that he has to run like that, then that's hilarious. But if that's like how he really feels right now, then I feel bad for him.
So Ziggler comes out. Ziggler starts to fuck shit up. And then here comes Luke Harper. They incorporate a ladder because, they've sort of been trying to... Every chance they get, they're letting people see the visual of a table, a ladder, or a chair. And in this case, they tried to use all three, but didn't really use a ladder. They don't even really use ladders and climb on top of them and jump off of them.
You're damn right.
They sort of stand under them or climb them to pose on them. They don't use them.
Yeah, it's hilarious. They don't jump off of them.
Oh, well.
Oh.
So Rollins picks up Cena, which I don't really remember that. I mean, didn't they do that in the Shield? But I don't remember Rollins being the one that hoisted the guy up for the powerbomb. I thought it was Reigns that would hit the powerbomb, and then Ambrose and Rollins would sort of put their hand down to like put emphasis.
He needed help picking Cena up. He needed two bodyguards to help him lift him up.
Oh, well. So that's that. That's the opening segment. Fucking chaos, big brawl. Then we move on to a tag team turmoil match for a number one contender for the tag team champions. So we've got Golden Stardust, The New Day, which is a new tag team, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, which is a new tag team no one knew about. Did you know about that?
No, all I gotta say is poor Cesaro.
Poor Cesaro. Anyways, the Usos, and then Adam Rose and the Bunny.
Fuck the Bunny.
The less we can say about this, the better. I just like to say... Go ahead, buddy.
No, the funny thing to me is, it was forgettable, but besides, you had the Bunny and you had Cesaro just going lower and lower on the fucking totem pole. The New Day, they're fucking hilarious in a bad way.
Their outfits are fucking terrible.
What the fuck was
they
that?
look like idiots, man. They've got like fucking like hoodies with no sleeves. Dude, they've got vests with hoods.
Did you see what Biggie Langston was wearing?
Biggie looked like he was wearing like a fucking... I don't know. He looked like an X-Men supervillain. He looked like Magneto or some shit with a fucking robe.
And if anyone didn't notice this, if you watch their their promo clip or whatever, it is the most fucking ridiculous thing, dude. They're singing. They're from the South. And one of them even takes a fucking a rag out and shines the other one's shoes. What the fuck?
So anyways... Shit goes down, tag match. couple spots. Usos win it. There you go. Usos are the number one contenders for the tag titles. They will meet Miz and Mizdow, the idiots, for the tag team titles at TLC. So we move on. We go to a backstage segment. The Miz and Mizdow walk over to Naomi, also known for being Jimmy Uso's wife. They go to Naomi. She's watching backstage. Miz talks about putting her in a music video and gives her a business card.
Talk about jungle fever. Anyways, it's I don't know. This is, I mean, you know, the funny thing is, I think he was mentioning it earlier. This plays into something that happens later on.
It does. It does. So we'll move on. Tom Phillips tries to get an interview with Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan's standing there with this stupid fucking mask on. He's trying to do a Rubik's Cube. And Phillips alludes to the fact that Rowan is actually a genius with an IQ, I believe, what did he say, in 140 or something? So a high IQ, whatever. He then just gives him one word. I forgot what he said to him. Then he finishes the Rubik's Cube in 2 seconds and puts it in his hands. Whatever. Big Show comes out, cuts a promo about...
You're damn right.
That was the best. You know what? Actually, I lied. Yesterday, I lied. That was my favorite part of the entire show. He comes out, where is the Big Show? He goes, you're damn right. Yells it. You can hear it clear as day on the camera. You're damn right. Anyways, comes out, cuts a promo. The fans start doing a "You Sold Out" chant. This leads to a match with Eric Rowan. They go, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Big Show and him go outside. Big Show whips him into the steps, and the ref calls for a DQ as Show hits him in the head with said steps. Ooh. So, whatever. Eric Rowan wins by DQ. The less said about this, the better. I mean, this is going to start a trend. Like I say, when you look on Raw, you can expect roll-ups, DQs, count-outs. There's like almost no clean finishes unless you're Cesaro. So, Vince McMahon shows up to the arena doing the whole limo spot. You know, the limo shows up, you see the feet drop down, you're like, oh man, who the fuck is that? But pretty much everybody's pretty sure that it's Vince McMahon. Renee Young comes up to him, wants an interview. Stone Cold podcast is the only thing on Vince's mind. He says, well, let me tell you something. We're going to have the Stone Cold podcast tonight only on the WWE Network. Puts it over, and he says it's going to be fun. Hits this sort of crouched posture. I don't know.
What the hell was that?
I don't fucking know what that was. I don't know.
That was hilarious.
I don't know, man. So, says it's going to be fun. And then he walks away. Next match, Fandango with Rosa Mendez versus Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter. Oh, Swagger's music played twice here. I'm not sure what that was.
Maybe it was a botch?
No. We cut to the backstage, and Zeb Coulter is down. And he says his legs hurt.
Someone pulled a Tanya Harding on him.
Fandango poses as he wins the match by forfeit. Whatever.
And then... Dun, 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 dun. You know who comes out.
Shut up.
Yeah, fucking Rusev jackass comes out.
Oh.
Damn, fuck him. So even Hornswoggle can throw him out the ring.
For anyone that doesn't know, we basically have a running joke now that Rusev is able to get tossed out of the ring by anybody. It's like he was trying to look strong. I think this originated from his segment with Big Show, I guess. He was like trying to act all strong and come into the ring when Big Show is in the ring, and Big Show just throws him right back out when he comes in. Like literally, that was the exchange. Steps in the ring, gets tossed right back out.
But everyone seems to do that to him.
I know. So
you're damn right.
So,
anyways,
Rusev and Lana come out. They begin a pledge of Russia, where she adds in clever things like "I pledge allegiance to the flag of Mother Russia." and
Yes.
one nation under Putin.
Ah.
Hilarious. Swagger comes out, gets into the ring, tackles Rusev, hits him a lot. But Rusev starts to make his comeback, and guess what happens? Swagger throws him outside.
What a surprise.
Throws him in the barricade. A group of referees separate them. Sort of weird for Swagger, right? Sort of looking a little heelish because the referees are having to like separate him. Like it sort of seems heelish. Like I don't want to say that the creative team is trying to make Rusev look like a face because he's clearly a heel, but the situations that he finds himself in are sort of face-ish.
It's it's for the country,
He
damn it.
stands up for what he believes in. Big Show and Mark Henry double team him. He's got to defend himself from rabid soldiers. It's
Oh God. Let's not even talk about that. You don't super kick a soldier.
you don't regular kick a soldier.
Fucking indie wrestler dressed up like a soldier.
Next match, I would say the show's favorite character on the entire roster, Damien Mizdow. A comedic genius, just a brilliant man, has a match with Fernando, one half of Los Matadores. Fernando and Sandow have decent match, I guess. Fernando blocks it, blocks a skull crusher finale, hip tosses him, Sandow takes him down, makes him tap out to a figure four. Now, what I'm curious about, they had Miz outside at the commentary, and because Miz was just sitting there, wouldn't Damien Mizdow just also be sitting there?
No, you're thinking too much.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
true.
they have like a telepathic connection, right?
Yes, and don't nobody try to tell us they're not. They're not stunt doubles. That's not his spitting image. It's telepathic. Don't try to tell us any different.
Oh well. So, in keeping up with the storyline from earlier, with Miz giving Naomi a business card, sort of flirts with her and says he's gonna, take her places in Hollywood. Jimmy Uso comes out and he clocks Miz with the right hand. Not as good as say Scott Hall or anything like that, but hits him with a right hand, then stands over him and says, "Stay away from my wife."
Yep. And before we move on from this segment, if anyone didn't get the joke, we don't think Damien Sandow's a comedic genius.
It's the worst
Yes.
fucking gimmick from recent memory.
It's horrible. It's I don't. I mean, what the fuck?
Like, it's possible that the fans' overwhelmingly positive response to it makes it worse. To me, personally,
Yes.
it is fucking terrible.
It seems like we're getting trolled by these fans.
Terrible. So, anyways, Bray Wyatt versus R-Truth is up next. Weird seeing R-Truth back. I don't know, maybe he was on SmackDown or Main Event. As you know, we don't watch that. But I don't know. R-Truth is back with a match with Bray Wyatt. And I'm sure everybody can figure out what's going to happen here. Short match. Sister Abigail. Bray gets the win. Then, as they go to break, Bray throws a bunch of chairs into the ring. And then he starts to tell a story about Jacob and the ladder. Were you following him there?
I think it's a story from the Bible, Jacob's ladder. Don't quote me on it, but he was talking about climbing the ladder or some shit like that. I don't know. He was crazy.
Well, he says that he will look down on all the insects like Dean Ambrose. And he says that he dreams of tables, ladders, and chairs. Tables, ladders, and chairs. And that it didn't have to be this way, Dean. Dean Ambrose comes out looking oh so crazy, as always. He's got a nice vest or whatever. Pulls Bray out of the ring. They slug it out for a little while with some of the worst punches in history. Those, I don't know, maybe somebody needs to talk to Dean. I don't know if maybe he doesn't know this. Maybe he thinks it looks good. Maybe he thinks it looks like it's crazy, like it's just a fury of punches.
Yeah.
It looks bad. It looks like a girl fight.
They need to go to the Scott Hall school of throwing kayfabe punches.
I'm telling you, man. If he could just throw one Scott Hall punch in his whole career, I'll put him over.
The discus punch.
The discus punch. But anyways, Bray runs away from Ambrose, of course. So, what happens? Well, Ambrose gets his revenge. And what does he get his revenge on? Bray Wyatt's chair.
Oh my gosh.
He takes the chair. He gives it a power bomb.
Oh my god.
Then
what's worse? Him power bombing the chair or him pile driving the mannequin?
I would have to say power bombing the chair. I mean, the mannequin is at least human-esque, right? The chair is a fucking chair. Right? Like, wasn't the mannequin supposed to look like Seth Rollins? Didn't it have a wig and shit on it?
It was supposed to resemble what's he gonna do to him.
This is a man's chair.
What if he saw someone doing that in the street?
I would keep walking or driving. I wouldn't stop. It's just a fucking chair. Like, if I saw someone doing that to a mannequin, I would think they're, maybe doing that to a person, if I'm far away enough.
Yep.
If I see them doing that to a chair, I'm going to keep fucking walking because this person is fucking, off his rocker, right?
No pun intended.
But anyways, so we've got that spot, and I don't understand this as much. Actually, I understand this less than Ambrose going after the chair. Is Bray Wyatt's reaction to the loss of this chair? He is distraught by the loss of this chair. Can you illuminate this at all for us? What you think?
Looked like he was about to break down in tears. I mean, I guess the chair is a symbolic representation, I guess, of Sister Abigail or some shit that means something to him. I mean, he's been known to use the chair since he's debuted in the WWE, but it's just a fucking chair. Like, he was in tears. He
was forlorn because of that chair. He was
so mad that he couldn't try running past the refs and jump into the ring and save his precious chair.
He was like real mad about it.
He's like walking back, my chair.
Anyways, then we've got the Bella Twins, who apparently everything's hunky-dory between these two, versus AJ Lee and Naomi. This was voted on by the fans. The choices were Natalya, Naomi, and Alicia Fox. And Naomi won, I believe, 46% of the vote. So, whatever. They had a match. And Nikki taps to the Black Widow by AJ Lee. Very short match. Short and sweet. Whatever. Paul Heyman joins the show from WWE headquarters. I don't know what was up with the backdrop. We had like 17 monitors of Heyman, 3 monitors of something else. A guy on the left who was on uTorrent, and a guy on the right who literally just was sitting on the blank desktop of the PC, then went to the start menu and shut down the PC. So I don't know what those two guys were doing.
Maybe the 17 monitors represents how many countries are broadcasting.
Yeah, well, UK isn't one of them. Wah, wah. So anyways, he cuts a promo, addresses John Cena's comments about Brock Lesnar rarely showing up. He basically explains that if he did it more than once a year, quote unquote, that he would lose his aura. Says he'll show up after TLC. Says if he can make it past Seth Rollins. He then goes on and says, well, what about other contenders? How about The Undertaker, if you can find him? How about Sting? How about the entire locker room? It doesn't matter. And that's it. Whatever. Cool.
Yeah, just the same old Paul Heyman promo that he's been doing the past 3 months.
Whatever. So, the main event seems like we've seen 17 different incarnations. Maybe that's what the 17 monitors were about. 17 incarnations of this
God.
fucking match. John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback versus Seth Rollins, Luke Harper, and Candy Kane. What did you think about this one?
Well, I think I've seen shit like this probably every week on Raw for the past 3 months. I mean, what can you say? It's boring. It really is boring. Basically, it's just like it's a smaller version of Team Cena versus Team Rollins. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, they keep throwing the same matches at us every week, and they're always putting the main event at the spotlight. I almost fell asleep during this match because I didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, dude. We get it.
I believe at this point, when we were watching it, weren't we talking about different wrestlers, how they would do in an actual fight between each other?
Yeah, we was like fantasy fights.
So, yeah, we were definitely tuned out. Anyways, match ends with Dolph Ziggler getting spinning side slammed by Luke Harper. Then he counters a powerbomb for a roll-up. Like I said, DQs, countouts, and roll-ups.
Yes.
So you've got the winners, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback. After that, everybody brawls. Two brawls tonight.
Surprise.
2 brawls. Big Show comes out, helps out Team Authority. Eric Rowan comes out with some steps. He hits Harper in the face with these steps. What do you think about that?
Crazy, but who looks worse running, Big Show or Eric Rowan?
You're damn right.
I mean, it's you notice that with Big Show, the camera focuses on him when he's like almost in the ring because they don't want to show him running down.
Big Show tries to choke slam Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler hits him with the super kick, which everybody has, so it's just a regular kick. So I'm just going to say kicks him. Yep. Cena hits him with the attitude adjustment, and the rest of the team whip him towards Eric Rowan, who hits him with the stairs. Show over.
Bam.
If you were to give this Raw an out of 10 score, what would you give it?
3. Last week was 0. This week was 3.
Oh, man. I got to give it a... All right, I'll give it a 3. And
but luckily,
the reason why I'll give it a 3 is because we at least had one good bit come out of it.
What?
You're damn right.
Yeah. And you know what? Luckily, there was something more interesting happening last night.
Oh,
that
what
happened
would that
after
be?
Raw. Well, it's been buzzing for weeks. Everyone's been excited for it. The podcast, the Steve Austin podcast with Vince McMahon. Mind you, what makes this more interesting?
Right.
What makes this more interesting is that it came out a little bit after the infamous CM Punk appearance on the Colt Cabana podcast, where he explained his reasons for leaving. And what did you think of this podcast, Fred?
Well, also, just before I get into that, not only was this right after the CM podcast, but this is right in line with people having to renew their subscriptions, or basically let them roll over from the free trial period.
It's no coincidence. It's a business decision to have this podcast yesterday.
And they've been planning this podcast for a while. They were actually advertising this like 2 to 3 weeks ago. So, and they made it exclusive on the network. So, for someone that was in the trial period for November, who feels like they got something for free, then to say, I guess I'll cancel it. Oh, wait. Isn't there going to be that Vince McMahon interview that's going to be exclusive? I mean, I wonder what Steve Austin's going to ask him about.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we get right into it. Steve Austin has him on and basically says, "How's the network doing?" First question,
I know.
I don't know if Steve was kind of trolling. What do you think?
I was actually surprised. I thought this was going to be a softball interview, but Steve Austin, he right off the bat. How's that network doing?
And they were very, very sort of in breaking kayfabe here.
Yep.
Kind of letting you inside the curtain here.
Uh-huh.
Asks him how the network's doing. Vince compares it to Netflix. Says it takes time to build the content. He wants to launch in the UK.
97% satisfactory rating.
So then we get into what Austin would like to see. Vince talks about how he liked the show. Austin talks about how tough 3 hours would be to do live still. Then he says that the first segment takes too long to set the hook. And Vince responds that they need to build these stories and people want to care about the outcome.
Well, there's building it and there's dragging it out. I mean, it really, it just when I heard this podcast, it really just said one thing to me. Vince McMahon is, and it's a lot what a lot of people have been saying. Vince McMahon is out of touch. We know this. Let's be honest. He was in this same situation 20 years ago before the Attitude Era.
Oh, of course.
He was out of touch with the audience, and it showed. If anything, these past two segments, last week and then the week before that's Raw, shows that these beginning segments are not interesting enough to be as long as they are.
Yep, they kind of scattershot it. And if anyone is curious on the network, there's actually a really, really great episode of Monday Night Wars that centers on Stone Cold Steve Austin and his sort of rise, his frustrations in WCW being underutilized since they signed Hulk Hogan, and his push sort of got mitigated by Hulk Hogan showing up, and then heading to the WWF, starting off as the ringmaster, and advancing from there. So Stone Cold says that nowadays there's a new vibe where people are scared to piss people off, and Vince counters and says that they shouldn't piss people off. He says that some guys are not ambitious, but some guys, like Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, so basically Bray Wyatt plus the Shield, are guys who are reaching for the brass ring.
And he said before that, John Cena was the only person to grab it.
He says that some people like John Cena are the only ones that are willing to give back to the business.
I, for one, will call bullshit on that. It seems like he was shitting on the people that he didn't mention. Talent, charisma, yes, you need those. But also, let's be honest here. They push people. They push the type of people that they want to be in the forefront. Because Roman Reigns, okay, I'm not shitting on the guy, but he doesn't have any charisma. If you watch his promos, they fucking suck.
His promos are like damaging to his character.
Exactly. So when Vince McMahon says that, oh well, they're ambitious and they got the it factor. Well, all it comes down to is the WWE is going to push, whether it's good for business or the fans or not. They're going to push who they want to push.
Exactly.
So that's corporate damage control right there. Running a corporation 101. That's what he was doing, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So they move on. Austin asks him about Cesaro, of all people, something that we were curious about. And Vince says that Cesaro is not connecting with his charisma and verbal skills right now. He says that the audience need to care about him, and they need to feel his presence. He says that he lacks it, and he's not sure how to fix it or book him appropriately. Again, sort of, breaking kayfabe here.
Well, what do you think? Because he had, after he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Yes, that was what it was. He won that. He had a push, but the booking firm was horrible. There's only so much you can do with the character that you're given. Making him, I think the biggest blow to his character recently was when he couldn't even get one pin over Dolph Ziggler. Like, how is he supposed to look strong when he's getting booked in that position?
And they have him get his brains blown out almost every match.
Yeah, and Tyson him with jobbing him. I'm not teaming him up with Tyson Kidd isn't going to help either.
No, I don't. It's like he did something, man. It has to be someone that has the physical gifts. His haircut sucks and his music. They give him the worst song ever.
They don't change it.
They completely blow his brains out anytime he wrestles anybody. Like, Ziggler should not be getting 2 out of 3 falls in 2 falls.
Dude, he got all 3.
No, he got it was 2 out of 3 and he got 2.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad.
He got 2 back to back.
I forgot. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine I can't remember.
No, I think he didn't get any falls.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Ziggler got 2 back to back.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm brain fart. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't remember ever in the history of me watching wrestling at any point did a 2 out of 3 falls match end in 2 falls. That's breaks
horrible.
the standard formula.
That makes him look weak as fuck. Nobody is gonna get behind someone like that.
And in that match, he was hitting him with all kinds of shit. He was hitting him with that fucking big European uppercut where he like catches him when he's landing, hits him with the finisher, and fucking Ziggler's kicking out like it's nothing, man. Going Super Ziggler.
Super Ziggler.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so, it's, Vince McMahon's he's gonna pull damage control.
Always. So, anyways, drops a nugget that Shane is currently working in Japan, which is kind of cool. Then they move on.
Oh, hold
Shay,
on. Before we move on, I kind of got a little offended by what Vince McMahon. These millennium kids, they're not ambitious as, we used to be.
Yeah. Well, they can't fucking do anything.
Exactly.
They're not allowed to do anything. You tell me, you come up with a fucking thing in the Raw Attitude Era, or not the Raw, but in the Attitude Era, that they could still do today. A scoop slam?
That's about it.
I mean, dude, they can't do any flips. They can't jump off ladders. They can't fucking hit each other in the head with steel chairs. They can't do blood. They can't cuss. They can't do sex. They can't do sexual angles. They can't do adult-themed content. They can't attack each other with cars. They can't do anything. They can't light each other on fire. Like, there's no danger anymore. There's no possible life or death implications here. Even though it was still very much controlled and these guys still took care of each other. The aesthetics of blood where you blade yourself. These different jumps where they'd pad up, big jumps off the Titantron and all this other shit. You can't do it anymore. So there's no longer this, man, is he I know this might be choreographed, but is he actually going to be okay?
Mm-hmm.
Never ever do you ever look and you say, is he going to be okay? I said, no, he landed real nice and soft, I saw the packing peanuts fly up when he landed,
With that statement, I just think that's a typical old man, them damn kids.
Well, not only that, like, just trying to guilt them for the fucking flawed writing staff.
Exactly.
So, anyways, then we come to a very interesting segment. I did not think that this segment was going to be fleshed out in any way, shape, or form. I didn't think that this topic was going to be addressed any more than a cookie cutter corporate statement. But Vince is asked about the CM Punk situation.
Yes.
Basically, he apologizes and says that he didn't actually watch the CM Punk interview, but he says that the wedding day firing was a coincidence. He says that there have been several disgruntled people in the past that have spoken out and that he will be the bigger man and not air the dirty laundry. He hopes that one day they'll be able to work again together. Stone Cold then brings up a sort of comparable situation where he had problems doing the job for Brock Lesnar and said that it made him hard to work with because he didn't feel that Lesnar deserved the push that he had and that Lesnar was supposed to go over Austin in all these different matches and that he wasn't really comfortable doing these things, Austin also brings up, Vince also brings up this idea that, CM Punk is hard to work with, but so was Austin. Austin would usually get presented with an idea and he would turn it down without having an alternative for it.
Yeah, as much as I love Austin, he was hard to work with. He did do a lot of, bitching and shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So,
you know what I mean? You walking out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot different, right? Because Austin was a lot more reliable, right? I mean, not to throw any shade at CM Punk, but I feel like even though, yeah, Austin was hard to work with, at the end of the day, he showed up to work, right?
Yeah, but well, besides the one time he walked out, like he pulled a Punk, but he came back.
Well, I think his relationship with Jim Ross, and he also addresses this, that Jim Ross saved him. I think that Jim Ross and Stone Cold had a really deep relationship, and with Jim Ross's position in the company as VP of Talent, I think that was pretty important for that relationship to stay intact. But Austin talks about how Vince fined him $250,000.
Damn.
For walking out.
He said he wanted to originally fine him $600,000.
Yeah.
God damn.
They then move on to the Undertaker's streak. Watching WrestleMania 30, Vince says that nobody wants to give more back than the Undertaker. Which, didn't he just say earlier that no one wants to give more back than John Cena?
And something very interesting is revealed here. It was Vince's idea. There was a lot of people saying that Undertaker originally came up with the idea, but it was actually Vince's, according to Vince.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying that was actually the Undertaker's idea, that Undertaker wanted to lose to somebody that was like a credible like fighter. Like if somebody if somebody was going to beat him and beat the streak, he wanted it to be a guy like Brock who was a legitimate martial artist. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mixed martial artists. Maybe martial arts is a little
Yes,
strong. But Austin asks, "Where's Brock?" And Vince calls him a special attraction.
Just like he said with Sting. He actually brung something up from the past. Remember Jake the Snake?
Yeah, Jake the Snake.
He came out every week and it became stale. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that because Jake the Snake came out with this snake every week that it got old. Basically trying to say that, but be honest, none of us we're not asking for Brock Lesnar to come out every week, at least once a month.
Once in a while. Come on, do a taped fucking satellite interview.
Whatever.
Shoot a pre-taped promo and have that air. They do it with fucking Bray Wyatt all the time, and it keeps him relevant.
He said the same thing with Sting. Sting doesn't need to come out a lot. But, once again, once every fucking 4 months isn't going to cut it. It's ridiculous.
He says that I wouldn't be surprised if he appeared at WrestleMania.
Oh, he said that? I thought he said he'd be surprised if he didn't appear.
He wouldn't be surprised if he appeared.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely at WrestleMania.
For sure.
Okay.
He's probably going to have a match with Undertaker or with Triple H.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying, okay? I heard that wrong. He said he would be surprised. He wouldn't be surprised if he did. Okay, now that, since we probably all know that he's going to be at WrestleMania, why not build a storyline? He doesn't have to wrestle every week. He doesn't even have to wrestle until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But build a fucking storyline, because let's look at it like this. He's not going to be able to pull off a 5-star match. So we're going to be invested in the story and the atmosphere of the match rather than the match. You know what I mean? So build a story. Is that so hard to ask?
Exactly. Right now, the story of Sting is that he really hates to see injustice, and
yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't want to cut you off, but the whole thing with Sting right now is basically a rehash of the WCW storyline. Okay. Basically, instead of him going after the NWO, mainly Hulk Hogan, he's going after the Authority, mainly Triple H.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, it's just like he really hates injustice, so he's going to stick it to the fucking heels, whatever. Austin asks about Macho Man Randy Savage being in the WWE Hall of Fame. He says definitely.
Good.
But soon, maybe not this year.
Good.
Seems a little weird, right? Why can't you just put him in?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that Macho Man's family had issues with Vince. I've even heard that Macho Man himself didn't want to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I can't confirm those, but it just seems weird. Dude, Macho Man should have been in a long time ago.
Right. I mean, he's like, first, second ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Macho Man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the elbow drop right onto the Hall of Fame.
Rest in peace.
For sure. So, like you mentioned, Vince McMahon talked about Sting, said he's a special attraction. You don't need to see him all the time, but you wouldn't be surprised if you saw him at WrestleMania. Interesting, because they sort of just inserted Sting out of nowhere, right? Like we were talking about. He just sort of, it seems like they just brought him in the week of and just wrote him into the story. Hey, you're going to come out instead of Randy Orton. That seemed like Randy Orton's gimmick or spot, that he was going to come out and interfere.
Yes, sir.
And no Randy Orton to be found anywhere. Anyways, he addresses Jim Ross, says, quote, "There's no heat," when describing their relationship today. Talks about the WWE event, that video game event where Ric Flair was pretty lit, coming off of the passing of his son, So he was dealing with some personal demons, and he was not in very good shape, and came out pretty loaded, made some offhand comments. Jim Ross apparently was very much blamed for this, blamed for not keeping Flair under control, and I don't know. So that was really where they parted ways. Said that everything's cool, hopes that he can get where he needs to be, and hopes they can work together again. All right. Even though Jim Ross, I believe, is going to be, where is he? He's going somewhere. I think he's going to some Japanese promotion or something like that. So he's going to be commentating wrestling again. Unfortunately, his MMA commentating wasn't as good. Obviously, it was just his first, so can't expect the world out of him, but So then they move on to the magic between Austin and McMahon. Not that big a deal. Just kind of, there was this part where Vince joked around saying, "Oh well, wasn't I the most athletic superstar you ever locked up with?" So just kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, shooting the shit.
Not really that much. Now that there's Austin Essence, now there's a quote unquote no blood policy, what they refer to as color. How would Vince react if there were to be blood? And he said that that's not what the audience wants. So
bullshit.
And they close with, "Is Vince listening to the fans?" And he brings up that the future is good. He says the ratings are holding up and the company is doing well. And Austin brings up the idea of a short attention span audience. And Vince says, "You're damn right." Vince insists that he is not out of touch and that he listens to the audience when he's live in the arena. Austin asked how people can send feedback. Vince brings up social media, and Vince wraps up the interview by saying that he's healthy, and he admits he knows that people say he's out of touch, but he doesn't listen to the critics. He listens to the fans. You're damn right.
Dude, that sounds like somebody we know.
Oh.
Oh my god, that is not a good attitude, dude.
Yep.
God damn it, I used to be a billionaire.
I used to build PCs in my day. But
Yeah, so what was your overall opinion of the podcast?
I was surprised by the amount of candor. They really they did not stay in kayfabe almost at all.
I was surprised, dude. The subjects that they went into, I was not expecting to hear anything about CM Punk or even any WCW reference.
I think the CM Punk segment was the longest segment that they had.
Yeah, I think so. You ever think CM Punk's gonna come back?
No.
Not even for like a 1 month thing, like short.
I wouldn't be surprised if he never wrestled again.
Yeah. He's doing other things. He's writing for Marvel. He's doing more jiu-jitsu, which makes him happy. He's so he seems like he's in a spot in life where he wants to be. So I don't see him coming back anytime soon.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. What about you? What do you think about this interview? What did you see anything that maybe didn't get answered? Maybe anything that Vince sort of shied away from?
Explaining his part. Um, he didn't tell his side of the story, which I know I expected. Vince McMahon's really good at damage control. He is the head of a corporation, and that's what corporations do. But you can't. I don't want to hear anyone from the WWE saying there's two sides to every story. Well, how do we know? Never gonna tell. You're not even gonna tell us some. You're not even gonna tell us the other side. Well, it's too personal. What the hell kind of excuse is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't, you have to sit there and you got one side of the story, and you got the other part. You got the other guys shutting up about it, and by default, we have to believe that everything that CM Punk's saying is mostly true, because the other guys won't shut up, won't say anything about it, which makes them look guilty. I I would have loved for him to explain what their beef was with CM Punk, which led them to that decision. It didn't have to be anything too personal, but it could have been brief, but he never really mentioned it.
Right.
He just shut up about it, and that was disappointing. So, if anyone from the WWE is listening, I don't want to fucking hear there's two sides to every story.
I think that's a great thing to end on. So, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Shootcast. Like I said, we'd like your feedback because we're trying to make a show that's both fun to do and entertaining, and I feel like
Yes.
you know I can see the benefit to doing either type of format. I can see the benefit to watching it live and getting our actual knee-jerk reactions to everything, and I can also see the benefit of doing more of a sum up, a shorter podcast that kind of has our opinions a little bit tailored down, and something that we can kind of think over.
Yep.
We really covered Raw in about a half hour, and this episode was obviously a little bit longer because we wanted to cover the Stone Cold podcast. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Good to try something new.
definitely. So let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter. Um,
Where can we find you on Twitter?
oh well, you can find me on Twitter at TIHYDP. It's an acronym for This Is How You Don't Play.
And you can find me at Retrospective PC. Let me know what you think.
So, for my co-host Jay, myself, Fred, thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Peace.